Hey guys, I'm Cheese with Northline International. I've been fighting here in Ukraine for about a year, and we're going to run over my plate carrier setup and how I run things here. I have it is a ProTech Frankenstein. It's a Ferro Concepts copy with a Cry AVS mod that allows me to run the Cry AVS harness inside of my plate carrier. On my front of my plate carrier, I'm running a Sputnik Gear 4 mag pouch placard system. I believe it is the copy of a Spiritus Systems. Something I've learned here in Ukraine is having 4 mags over the 3 in the front is more viable, and it makes things easier for me to get to my gear. And on this placard system, I have 267 frag grenades, which I keep on me, which I keep on the front because you run through frags quite a bit. And having more pouches for them, I've learned is kind of better. Here I run 1 smoke grenade. Smoke in this war and in the AOs that we've been in, smoke is not always viable and it's not always good, but I like to have it as a backup communication or a emergency situation, whether it be urban or in a tree line. You can always throw a smoke, although every drone in the AO is going to start looking at you, but it's good if you're in an actual contact and a gunfight. I also run 2 mag holsters on it, which everything's sewn in. Right now there's nothing in them, but I can run a spare mag for my handgun, or I can run a flashlight or an extra multi-tool or whatever. Also, I'm running so this is a Global Ballistics little drop pouch and dangler. It's really good. I've been using it for my medical, which I have my IFAK and everything's just kind of thrown in there, but I can also put armor behind it if I need to in a flat back here, which a lot of guys out here, they run a lot of armor. I kind of don't like armor. I am probably one of the smallest guys out here that actually fight out here. So being one of the smaller guys, I can't really go as long with heavier loads. So I've had to make cuts where it's not as viable. I do run Ukrainian plates in my plate carrier. They're a little bit heavier. I run some extra stuff, but I try to slim also as much as I can. It's not advised. I do it. I understand the risks. So I'm going to put those risks out there to make myself faster and leaner because of just the size difference. Right now it is winter, so I am running a IMTAC little, whatever you want to call this. It's just a hand warmer, I guess. They're pretty nice for the cold weather, especially when it's like well below 0 and there's snow on the ground, your hands get cold. I do use it quite often. That was actually a buddy of mine who, during one operation, he took around and a bunch of fragmentation. His plate carrier was left there in the field. I ended up taking it off, and it's actually on loan, but he will be receiving it back when he comes back from the hospital. So moving over to the side, I run my side pouches. They are a quad 4 pouch of for mags, but because of some missions I run could be recce's and stuff like that, I don't need a lot of ammunition, so I use them for things such as thermal imaging devices, or I can put an extra smoke grenade, or on the other side of my kit I also have another one in here which has full of just extra things like glow sticks if I need them, things like that. But these, as of right now, I just got off the line about a couple of days ago, and I got off the line a couple of days ago, and so some of my stuff is empty or missing pouches, and I was doing a recon recce for positions and sitting in a forward command post a lot, so I really didn't need the need for an extra additional 8 mags on my sides. So, but
What was your mag?
about 14 is what I'll run. I've been in situations where I've ran 8 mags, and I've actually ran out of magazines, and I've had to take mags off of our guys who are like literally trying to run by me because I've ran out of magazines. I've also been in situations where I've never fired a single round. So a lot of it is mission dependent, and I try to keep it that way. So every day my stuff all changes. These particular mag pouches are actually Russian mag pouches that I collected off of some guys that we took prisoner during an operation, and I saw them, and they're actually kind of a weird copy of what appeared to be a I'm trying to think of the name, a Cry Precision or a ProTech style mag pouches. So I ended up just ripping them off his carrier and putting them on mine later. I also run another part of Russian kit that I have taken from prisoners, which are my internal plate patch, my internal plate padding. These I took from a Russian off a Russian plate carrier. I really don't understand what brand they are or anything like that. I'm not a Russian kit guru.
I'm sure someone could tell us.
Yeah, someone can definitely tell us exactly what this is. It was just something I ended up grabbing a hold of because I wanted something a little more streamlined that can make my plate bags, and that can make my plate bags stick closer and tighter to my chest and back. And at the time, I saw them and I was like, "Ooh, they're free. They're all but free 99 with a little bit of taking some people prisoner." And I snagged them off his plate carrier instead. Not like he's going to use it. Now, as far as did I already go over this? So this is my phone pouch. I'm actually upgrading soon, but this is a MTAC phone case carrier. So a lot out here in Ukraine, we use a lot of digital maps, and a lot of digital information gets passed to the guys on the ground, to the HQs, to the forward command posts, and so much digital information. I was working as the 2IC of a team, and then I became a team leader after our team leader got hurt. And then I don't even know what I am in my unit right now. I'm just kind of a wild card rogue. I can do any job. So having something where I can pass digital information from myself on the ground to our forward command post, or from the forward command post to our HQ, is vital. So I always have to take a phone, whether it's my personal phone, even though it's not advised, or it's my operations phone. I always have to have a phone on me, and that's so I can get maps, information, everything. I'm actually upgrading to a better one from it's a Juggernaut. My phone currently has a Juggernaut on it, a Juggernaut case, but I am currently waiting for my order for the Juggernaut mount for my plate carrier itself. Now, going more towards the back of my plate carrier, I run my radio pouch back here. This is actually just a mag pouch from a random airsoft company. I have no idea. It might be G code. No, it's pole lock, whatever. It's magnetic. It's pretty easy. I am also working on changing this out right now because it is. I've had many times where my radio has fallen out, and this is no longer viable. I used to run this closer to the front, but now I'm starting to transition to running it to the back due to just things that I've learned from running it to the front. The antenna gets in the way, and it just becomes a hassle there. So I've transitioned it more towards my back on my side with my radio wires and stuff all running in for my push to talk. As far as my rear plate bag, I run it slick. A lot of these times on these operations that we do, we have to have you're always going to be carrying around a bag, whether it be an assault pack or an actual ruck system. But I try not to run anything on my back due to weight concerns and due to the uncomfortability of running a pack with a back panel on you. So I try to keep this as slick as possible, so that way there's no more issues or anything like that. I'm not busting a water bag or anything like that. I would rather drink out of a water bottle than bust a Camelback bladder, because that just becomes a mess, especially when it gets cold. If you get wet, you're going to get cold, you're going to freeze, and you're going to hate everything about this. So I would just rather run slick, no anything, and I will just bring water bottles in my pack. If I get separated from my pack, I do have other pouches, whether it be my dump pouch, an extra dump pouch, or whether it be one of these mag pouches for 2 mags, I can put a water bottle in. So I don't absolutely need to carry around a camelback or extra equipment on my back. So this pouch, I've had this for years. I bought it back when I was in the US, and this was something that I had bought for flat range and civilian trainings and things of that nature. So it's just an extra dump pouch in case I have to put any type of sensitive equipment or anything that I've found, or extra frag grenades. I've had this thing full of frags before on an assault where we were clearing out about 700 meters of trench lines and blindages. So I have definitely used this thing multiple times, and it is a permanent item on this plate carrier.
So if you came to Ukraine today, would you go out and buy all this day one? You're riding to, you're waiting.
Well, I probably wouldn't have the money to buy it. So about every 42 hryvnia, I believe, is about $1 somewhere in that. My plate carrier alone cost about 25,000, plus another 5K, I believe, for the Sputnik placard system. Plus a lot of this stuff was picked up off the ground, or it was stuff that guys had given me that I had been here with. It was just kind of a combination of things. I think the only things left on my plate carrier system that I actually bought was the plate carrier itself, the placard, and the phone holder. I think everything else has been given to me or has been picked up.
Would you buy it like before you went, or you'd say to someone like, wait?
I would wait and see. Everyone's mission is going to be different. The way that your body moves, the way you do things, such as how much armor you need, or if you're going to be in a forward command post, which will be behind the actual zero line, or if you're going to be on the zero line, or what AO you're going to be in. Everything is dynamic. So I've been in AOs where you walk outside and there's an FPV gunning for you. I've also been in AOs where I haven't seen a single FPV, where there is no such thing as artillery or mortars. But I've also been in AOs where you walk outside and that could be your last time breathing. From everything that you do, from every mission, it should be dynamic. Your plate carrier will always be constantly evolving and changing based off of the lessons that you learned, where you move things to, how you as an individual move, what your missions are. So if I was on the zero line, if I was on the zero line holding a position for an indefinite amount of time, which some people get those missions, I would definitely have more armor. I would have side pouches. I would have the dick flap. I would have the neck armor. I would have it all. But my missions are typically in the weird spectrum of I can be doing anything at any time. So I try to minimize as much weight as I can for a lot. But if I need to, I can always add on more magazines or add on more stuff depending on what my mission will entail before I go out. And sometimes my mission can entail being on a position for 5 days, helping with a forward command post, and then it turned into, oh, hey, there's 2 guys, 2 Russians have been seen, or radio interceptions of 2 Russians. They're about 600 meters from your position. So you and 1 other are going to have to go and clear that position. And this is typically what it boils down to. It's just dynamics. There's 2 pieces of essential kit that I forgot to mention. I run a little lanyard clip on the inside of my ABS harness, and this actually connects to my radio. So that way I never lose my radio. Something that we know is a fact is if the Russians end up finding our radios, they can hack into them and they will listen in on our comms. So if something were to happen where my pouch fails or my radio does come off my kit, my pouch or my radio can always be retained. It's just a layer of emergency redundancy and things of that nature. Now, so one other thing is the last thing I forgot to mention was I run 2 tourniquets on my plate carrier at all time, and both of those are put on it's an MTAC wing system, almost kind of like, I think Spiritus actually first started with this. It's just another Velcro piece to put underneath my placard system. I specifically run them like this because it allows me to carry two, and they're both in locations where I can access it with either one of my hands. And yeah, I believe that's everything I run on my plate carrier itself. Yeah, do I need to close it out or?
No, just be like, yeah, so that covers. No, you don't need to do anything. Actually, we can just start.
Okay.
Yeah, just start on the other one. Don't need to close it.
Okay.
And then for this, all you would do is just be like, now and
All right. All right, guys. This is my belt system that I run. We're going to start from the front to the rear. This is all things I've learned using multiple different belt systems. I started with a traditional gun belt, which was an inner outer belt system. I started with that. I went to after about the first operation, or well, during my trainings, I realized that my weight for the belt systems, it wasn't holding right. It would hurt me and I couldn't do the job I needed to do with it. So then I transferred over to an IFAK belt, one with a very large back pad with an internal armor system. And then I realized that wasn't right for me. So then I ended up looking for other options, and I looked for the Cry options, so their low profiles. And something that I noticed from that is that it was too expensive. So I went with another company I had found through a buddy of mine, and he had put me towards Sputnik gear. So I ended up with a Sputnik gear belt system, which is their low profile. It comes with a internal belt system that I can run on the inside of my belt. So it keeps it connected to my belt. And this was something that I saw as good because I was having problems with shifting and the shifting of stuff. So on the internal, outternal traditional gun belts, this was what was key to me and my experiences. I realized having the internal would allow the belt to stay connected to my body. Then I have the actual belt itself, which it's not very padded, but it's padded enough. It has a little bit of padding within the belt itself. I can't add armor to it, so that's actually a downfall of this. But I do like to run lighter, and after long movements or long periods of times, ounces becomes pounds, which means that the smaller amount of the more weight you add, whether it be a few ounces or a kilogram or a pound or however you want to say it, it will feel like it's a lot more. So I've opted for less of the armor protection and opted for something that was slim but still padded enough to feel comfortable on my body for long periods of times. I run the Sputnik belt suspenders as well. I promise this is not paid by Sputnik. But I run the Sputnik belt suspenders. Something I realized running a traditional gun belt was that without suspenders, if my hips started hurting after long walks or rucks, because we're rucking maybe anywhere between 10 to 20 kilometers of a infill, I could always just unclip it and open it up, and it would shift the weight from my hips to my shoulders. So this worked out really well for me.
But if Sputnik want to get in touch,
yes, I actually like a lot of their things that I've been seeing, and I'm actually going to order more things from them for sure.
We'll send this video first.
Oh, yes. So one of the things I'm running right now and currently are gloves connected to my belt. Of course, everyone needs gloves. I don't wear gloves all the time, but only during certain times I do put gloves on, such as if it's cold or if there's something I need to touch, which is kind of gross, or whatever it is. There's a lot of times where most of the times I don't wear gloves unless it starts getting cold. So then I carry two tourniquets on the front, just like my plate carrier, that's both easily accessible by both hands. There's really not much else. They're just on a IFAK suspended or an MTAC bungee pouch. Really don't know what to call it. So here, this is some random pouch that was given to me. It was for 2 mags, and something I noticed is that it was big enough and secure enough where I could fit a smoke grenade in here, which I currently have. It's very tight though, so this is more of an emergency, like I have to signal a drone or something. Yeah, now it doesn't want to come out, but it is more of an emergency type ordeal. This isn't my go-to, but if I have to, I can use this pouch for anything else, and I can just throw this into a bag or anything else I need. So carrying on from there.
This is a Russian.
No, this is American. This is I think this is it's something. This is definitely not American. Yeah, it's definitely not American. Okay, so shifting over, I run this is a pistol mag pouch. I actually run a multi-tool. If you're doing any type of missions or anything like this, always want a multi-tool. This multi-tool belonged to a friend of mine who was killed in front of me. There was some during the operation, I ended up needing a multi-tool. I didn't have one. He had one on his kit. I ended up taking it off his kit after he had died. His kit was just sitting there. So I had to scavenge what I needed, and I ended up with his multi-tool. It actually has a chunks taken out of it from where shrapnel hit it. Yeah, me and him were really close. So I took some of his things that I needed during the operation. Sometimes out here, because of the lack of resupply, the lack of ability to do things, you sometimes have to do that. So moving on, this is my my pistol mag. Moving on, this is my pistol mag paddle, or my pistol paddle for my holster. I'm running it's all made by ATA gear. I'm running a ATA gear QD system. It's much like the Safariland one. The Safariland is stupidly expensive and it's hard to get here. So that's why a lot of stuff is knockoffs. It has to do with price points, and it has to do with the availability. A lot of this stuff isn't available, so a lot of these companies make very, very good Ukrainian clones of some very nice, well-made American essential kit. So I'm also running this as my leg strap. It is I believe I forget what company actually made this. It's got like a plastic Cobra buckle on it. It hasn't failed me yet. I've been running this for about a couple of months now, and it's pretty nice as far as just something to keep my leg strapped down, or to keep my stuff strapped down to my leg. And yeah, scooting over to the back, I run a MTAC IFAK. It's a pull. I can pull it from either side with either hand needed. I run 2 IFAKs if something were to blow up, from one on the front and one from to the rear. If something were to blow up, or if this were to get damaged or destroyed, I can always go to the next one, or vice versa. So this is actually really important. I run they come with these little cards. Let me see if I can get it out now. This thing's old. They come with a card. One side's red and one side is black, and it comes a little cross. I run mine on the black side because I don't want the red to show in any type of movements or anything like that, to try and at least mask as much as I can. So any odd colors I don't really try to use. Now, I would do a breakdown of my IFAK, but I think that should be saved for later. So this is my dump pouch. It is a Ukrainian issued dump pouch, surprisingly. I got issued this one a year ago when I first got here, and I never really found the need to change for another dump pouch. This has served pretty good. Sometimes I find that it's a little small, but I've never actually had really big problems with it. And a lot of the times you may never even fire your rifle. So I mainly have just ran this for the past year, and I've had no problems. It hasn't broken. It's pretty good, so I just keep it. There's no point in spending money on stuff that just because of a brand, or because this is issued and something else you can buy looks cooler. So moving on, This is a copy of I believe it is the copy of a Cry Precision gear. It's made by Malva. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly or whatever, but this has served me for almost a year as well. This is something I bought from a store here in town locally. Currently, I'm running my night vision in here, and I'm running. That's about it. I'm just using it as a night vision pouch. It's just PVS 14. It is a Envision Optics PVS 14. My stuff's a little broken from when I got off mission, but it's not bad at all. I can see pretty crystal clear through this, and but the reality is that night warfare is dead. Any something that needs to be honestly said is night warfare is dead. You're not assaulting positions at night. You're not fighting dudes with night vision while they're asleep. They have night vision. You have night vision. They have thermals. You have thermals. There's no reason to be operating in the middle of the night when everyone's going to be at a disadvantage. It makes war harder. And yeah, the days of GWAT and the days of Afghanistan, Iraq, and war on terror, we could operate at night knowing that the enemy couldn't. It made things better. But now, if you move at night, thermals will pick you up. They will artillery you. They will mortar you. They will send drones after you. And it makes everything harder and riskier. Everything's just done in the day here. There's no reason to try to do anything wild. I run 2 mags on this. I run 2 mags on my inside 2 of my rifle mags inside of this pouch here. It's got a little slot for mags. And then I run another M67 on my belt kit. I run a lot of the M67s. I don't really trust anything other than the American-made frag grenades. I've heard really bad stories, so I run another M67. I've had this one for a long time, maybe for about a year as well. This is probably one of my first M67s I had in this country, and I keep it in here. The thing about this is, if it ever came down to it, a lot of the guys on my teams that I run with and do things with, they know about this frag grenade and where it's specifically located. The realities of today warfare and how unconventional it is. I run a frag grenade in case on my belt system, in case if something ever happened to me. If I became so hurt I couldn't be exfilled or it was going to become some issue, this is my keep me from being captured or from my body being able to be recovered by our opposing forces. It's a morbid thing to think about, but it's something that I've thought about before, and I don't want to be put into the position to be a prisoner or to be exchanged for someone else who we probably shouldn't exchange for my dumbass for coming out here and fighting anyone. But that's about my kit. That's my belt system I run. That's how I run it and set up. It's all set up in particular ways because I've learned over my time here on where things should be based off of necessity, importance, and what I actually want. So for example, this pouch here, I can throw more frag grenades in it, or I can replace this with a pistol mag, or I can replace my emergency smoke grenade with more frag grenades, or a thermobaric, or a aptechka, which are just C4 shoved into a energy drink can with a fuse on it. But that's typically how I run my stuff on the majority of my missions, minus adding or subtracting a few extra things. All right, yeah. If you guys have any comments, just write them down in the comment sections or questions or anything of that nature. Please feel free, and I'll try to get back to you. So yeah, have a good one, guys. There is a comment section for a reason.